Hello everyone, this is John from Twirled and Twisted and welcome back to my Complete Paper Princess tutorial. Today we're working on part 5, which is all about constructing the arms. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our plastic quilling workboard, which has all sizes of circular holes in it. We're going to lay it down and we're going to attach a blob of blue tack into each corner. So now when we flip it over, it creates a kind of raised platform, but we're just going to set this aside for now and I'll show you what this is useful for a little bit later on. So when I was designing my very first paper figure, I was a little bit unsure on how I wanted to make the arms, so to help me work that out, I decided to follow the structure of real arms. So if we look at an example of this, and for instance here is a picture of Belle, we can see that there are 3 basic parts. The first is the shoulder, the second is the upper arm, and the third is the lower arm or the forearm. So all I had to do was to recreate each section. So starting with the shoulder, I have 2 strips of our flesh coloured paper, again 3mm width and 30cm in length, and a 3rd strip of golden yellow, which will all be rolled into a tight coil. So after gluing the end down and rolling the edges flat, I then used the doorknob technique to turn it into a dome shape. And once happy with that, I coated the inside with a thin layer of glue so that it will retain that shape. So I decided to do the forearm next, and since Belle wears gloves, I took 2 strips of the golden yellow quilling paper and formed those into a tight coil and glued the end down. So here you'll see why I love this pen-shaped slotted quilling tool so much, because if you push your coil down the tip and onto the shaft, it kind of forms a perfectly level cone shape, which is perfect for the arms, and I am guaranteed to get this same shape and size every time. So once you've done that, carefully twist the cone off of the tool and then create the exact same shape again in the flesh colour, and this will be your upper arm. So now we've got all of the sections of the arm that we need, we just have to assemble them. So first I'm going to take the flesh coloured cone and I'm going to fill that with PVA glue. And then I'm going to also add a small bow of glue to the inside of the shoulder piece. Now these 2 pieces should slot together easily, so just push them until the glue starts to flow out of the end. This means that there's no air inside, so you've formed a kind of vacuum with the glue, and this will hold the pieces together while the glue inside it dries. So after you've given the upper arm a little bit of time to set, you can take the golden cone, and again you're going to fill this with PVA glue, and then you're going to slot your upper arm in, but at an angle like so, because this will then create the appearance of an elbow joint. And then you can just use your finger to wipe away any excess glue. Now you can bring back the workboard that we attached the blue tack to earlier on, and you can see that these small holes create a kind of perfect drying rack for these arm shapes, and they can just slot in and they don't have to be laid down while they dry. Just don't forget that you'll have to create 2 of these arms. So if you're making a different princess or another character that requires larger bunches, so for example Snow White or Cinderella, you can achieve getting this bigger shoulder piece by using 4 strips instead of the 3 that we used before. So you're going to shape that in the exact same way that we did earlier on, only this time you're going to notice that the upper arm and the shoulder piece don't fit together anymore. But of course we don't want to make the actual arm any longer or wider, so instead this is how we go about fixing it. So when you're making the upper arm cone exactly the same way as we did before by using the tip of the slotted quilling tool, before you actually remove it from the tool, you're going to take an extra strip of quilling paper, the same colour as the shoulder piece, so in this instance it's white. You're going to apply some glue to the end and attach this to the base of the arm cone. With this attached, you can then roll it up just like we would with a tight coil and glue the end down. So now when we remove it from the tool, we can see that these two pieces will slot together much better and will be glued in the exact same way as before. Then as you can see from comparing these two, we've been able to achieve bigger shoulder bunches without actually increasing the scale of the arms. If you wanted, you could make even bigger bunches by using 5 strips to create the shoulder piece instead of 3 or 4. And then you just need to add an extra 2 strips to the base of the arm cone so that you'll have used a total of 4 strips for that piece. So both pieces will slot together as long as there is a 1 strip difference between the shoulder and the arm piece. So as you can see in the first example, we had 3 strips versus 2 strips. In the middle one, we had 4 strips versus 3 strips. And in the final one, we've got 5 strips versus 4 strips. So there's always 1 strip difference. So once both of your arm pieces are completely dry, i.e. the glue is clear and shiny, you may wish to add some of the Stickles glitter glue on the shoulder part so that it blends in with the top of the dress. Of course, this is an optional step, you do not have to do this if you don't want to. I just personally like it as I think it ties the pieces together. If you did go ahead and add glitter, once everything is dry, you can then attach the arms to your figure. So take your first arm and position it against the dress so that you can find an angle that looks natural. Once you have, notice where the arm touches the dress, because this is the area that you're going to add your blob of PVA glue to. Then you can press the arm firmly against the dress again, and you're going to push down with a lot of pressure, and you're going to hold this in place for about a minute or so, and you'll know that you've held it long enough because when you let go, the arm should stay in place. At this point, I like to wait for the glue holding the arm to dry and turn completely clear before I go and add the second one. So once you've added both arms to the figure, you can relax and smile in the knowledge that you have successfully completed part 5 of this tutorial, so a big well done to you. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay tuned for part 6, which is coming out tomorrow, where I will walk you through creating the head and the hair. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, make sure you've hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as the video goes live. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!